Let me ask you about chamber music, or specifically composing chamber music. You approach that differently, I'm sure, than other types of music.
I do, and in fact, I find it far more challenging to me. I'm really, for me, the world that I inhabit is mostly orchestral, vocal, and in some cases theater music.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, writing chamber music is, I've written 6 string quartets, and I've written probably in my list of works, I've got, easily about 35 of them that are considered chamber music works. But that's really, about 1/4 of my output in the last 30 years. So it's more difficult, it's more challenging, but in some ways it's the most rewarding because a lot of chamber music for me deals with more personal, private issues. Inventions on a Marriage was written for Jaime Laredo and Sharon Robinson's 35th wedding anniversary, but it also was the result of thinking about what a series of musical snapshots on married life might sound like.
Oh.
And I was interested in doing this, in fact, because I myself am about to celebrate my 6th anniversary with my wife.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And it's been a very different kind of life, as one can imagine, having been a bachelor for all those years and being my first marriage. And so it's a different kind of it's a different way of living, but it has resulted in my thinking about it in terms of naturally a musical response.
Did you work with Jaime and Sharon? Did you get feedback from them in the course of the composition?
Not really. The feedback that I've gotten from them has really been my good fortune in being able to listen to them over the last 14 years that I've known them. I think that's really that's the feedback that a composer needs, is how the people that you're writing for play, or in the case of a singer, sing. That's what you want to do. You want to design the music so that it fits on and with the people who are going to be performing it. And that's really what I've done for Jaime and Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also, in a sense, called it Inventions on a Marriage because they're like 2-part inventions a lot of the time. Every single one is different.
Right.
But they also exist like 2-part inventions or 2-part conversations.
Do you ever find in these premieres, when you finally hear a work in its world premieres, we will on Saturday, that it somehow sounds different than it did in your head?
In certain situations, it's sometimes very different. Usually that's more the case with larger forces. This probably won't be such a surprise when we're dealing with just 2 players or a piece of chamber music. But when you're dealing with an orchestral work, there's so many variables that there are surprises and balance that even though I've written over 30 hours of orchestral music, I still get surprised by certain alchemies that exist in the combining of instruments that I might not have known.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good because in that way one continues to grow, I do think that for me, the experience of hearing a piece in the concert hall outside of my head is always a little different from hearing it in the concert hall inside my head because it's always more colorful outside.
Mm-hmm.
The real live performance always feels richer color-wise. It's like, I've said this many times before, but it's exactly like the moment when Dorothy steps out of the house in The Wizard of Oz and
Right.
the movie goes
Yes.
from black and white
Yes.
to color.